What is up, W Sports Podcast? Jimothy and Tubby, we are back again with a big episode this week because, Tubby, we have a giveaway for the month of November and we are announcing it today. Let's just jump in right now, Tubby. What is our November giveaway for the podcast?
Well, it is another NFL signed jersey.
Oh,
You subscribe, you can get entered into a chance for a signed Aaron Jones Packers jersey.
I feel like that's a hard one to let go of, man.
I have three of them.
You have three? Okay,
So,
well, there you go.
so I have multiple of them. So it's not because he's not on the Packers anymore. I have multiple. So I
He's not
figured
bitter. Yeah.
I give.
What a guy. What a guy. Yeah. So, again, the only way that you can enter to win this is just simply by subscribing to the show on YouTube. It's free. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it is a special Black Friday offer we are offering right now. If you subscribe, it's absolutely free at all times forever and will never raise your rates for subscribing. Just want to throw that out there.
Nope.
That's
No
a good
2-year
deal.
plan. You don't even have to sign a contract.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's legit. So we appreciate every single one of y'all who have already subscribed. Just know that you are already entered in to win. And we will draw this right after Thanksgiving. The following week,
Yep.
we will have the announced winner. So now's the chance. Now's the chance to do that. So
Yep.
today is week 12 of Fantasy Football Advice. Plus, we're going to take some L's and do some victory laps together. So, because why not? We are almost through the entire college football year. Plus, we have NFL season that is in the back third, and you know what? NBA season started. It's time for some wins and losses.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, Tubby, let's start it off right. Fantasy football advice. Give me a QB in the top 12 that you think should not be. So,
I'm going with Brock Purdy at Green Bay. I
it totally
just
makes sense. Yeah.
the offense just isn't clicking right now. They're not scoring a whole lot of points. He's not scoring a whole lot of fantasy points. I think this is just we've talked about. We don't know what the weird situation is, but there's a weird situation going on in San Francisco.
Yeah. Honestly, if you want me to do a cheap one, I would say Geno Smith. No, thank you. But if you really want me to go bold, give me Jaden Daniels. He's just been, like we talked about in
Yeah.
yesterday's episode, both about Brock Purdy and about Jaden Daniels, a little bit injured. I know it's against Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just I think they're going to lean a little bit more on the run. And he hasn't had a rushing touchdown like that upside in the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks. So I think even at 3, it's a little high. It's hard if you have him to not start it, but
Yeah.
if you have a guy like Sam Darnold or Jordan Love,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'd probably be more likely to start him. So that's who mine is. Who would you start?
Well, you just mentioned him, Jordan Love.
I thought you were going to say Tommy DeVito.
Yeah. Give me Tommy Cutlets.
Boom! I love it. Yeah. Okay. So you said again, Jordan Love, right?
Yeah, going Jordan
I
Love
like
against San Francisco. I think we saw what he did last year in the playoff game. Tore up that defense. The late interception kind of killed any momentum that they had going into the potential Super Bowl. But I think they're gonna right the ship. They're gonna go in there. And Matt LaFleur hasn't really been able to beat Shanahan. So
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan, yeah. And so I think that this is going to be a game they're going to want to win bad.
Yeah.
And I think the offense can go out and they're going to have a game.
Yeah. Give me Drake May, a guy who has thrown for at least 25 pass attempts in every game that he has
Mm-hmm.
started and didn't get hurt. But he also he carries the ball probably 5 times this game. I think he might be able to sneak into the end zone once if he gets lucky. But give me Drake May. I think he's a little low. And who's he playing again? Is Miami. So
Miami,
I mean,
yeah.
come on now. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I would start
agree.
both those guys over Jaden Daniels this week.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Or Geno. So
yeah.
All right, let's move on to running backs. Tubby, who you got in the top 24, those RB1s and 2s that you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm passing on Jonathan Taylor this week. If I have another option,
wow,
I'm not playing him against Detroit.
I get that.
Detroit's just absolutely mauling teams.
Yeah.
And they get up big. We know what teams like to do. Abandon the run.
Unless you're Detroit. Yeah. Yeah. I think that one right there, I'm a little nervous about a couple of these guys. Number one is Chuba Hubbard. The more Jonathan Brooks is back, I'm just a little bit nervous about what did they do.
Yeah.
But honestly, Tony Pollard, see ya. Rico Dowdle, see ya. I don't even care. There's so much garbage in this list right now. It is really carried at the top 9 of these guys, I think. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough to piece this together. It's gross.
Yeah. It's not pretty.
But in the grossness, who would you start that's below this tier that we just said? Ugh.
Give me Javonte Williams
Okay.
against Las Vegas. I think that
Yeah.
last week I had talked about maybe think if you have Javonte Williams, maybe think about picking up Audric Estime. They're starting to get him a little bit more involved in the offense. But Javonte Williams, out carried him, out snapped him last week. So I think that he's still the main guy. I still think there's a question. I think they're wanting to get Estime a little bit more involved, but I think this week is a good matchup against Las Vegas to go ahead and start him.
If I had to start a running back, these are disgusting. Past like 10, dude, is so nasty. I hate it. I
Yeah.
think Javonte Williams is funny on ESPN. He's 25. You're like, yeah, give me that one.
Yep.
So you know what I'm gonna say? Audric Estime. I'm gonna go the other side. One of them's gonna hit. It's not. One of us is gonna be wrong on this one. Probably me. But dude, it's a cloud of maybe Gus Edwards, Samaje Perine if he scores a receiving touchdown, which I could see in this matchup against Carolina. So you could talk me into that one. Jonathan Brooks, but again, I don't know what they're going to do. There's just so much questions here. Cam Akers is getting a lot of the secondary carries now for Minnesota. So it's just so much.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's a bunch
awful.
of ugliness right now.
Especially, I think it's 5 teams or 6 teams on bye.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's only 2 second slate of games this week.
Oh, isn't that weird?
Yeah, only 2.
Apocalypse. This week 12. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead. We're going to look at wide receivers, top 24. You're not starting them. Who is it?
Yeah, I'm going to go crazy. I don't know if it's really that crazy, honestly. Tyreek Hill against New England. I think Gonzalez is going to shadow him most of the game, and Christian Gonzalez is turning into one of the better man press coverage corners in the NFL. I think that he's going to shadow him most of the game. And you talked about Drake May being a start. I think that New England could definitely give them a run for the money. The way that offense has been playing really well with Drake May. So I think this game is going to be a shootout. But I think that Tyreek Hill really hasn't played up to his potential this year. A big part of it is Tua was out, but still.
Yeah. Part of me wants to say Jaden Reed because that's just bitter personal Jimmy taste because he's on so many of my fantasy teams. He's been pretty rough the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't really see that one. The other one, I thought about where did it go? Oh man, I'm just looking here. This is terrible. Oh, it's Terry McLaurin. And I feel weird saying that, but we talked about it's Dallas on the road versus at home. Jaden Daniels injuries. He hasn't been boom or bust.
Yeah.
But he has he's been inconsistent the last month. And because of that inconsistency, you would say that this next week he would be better. But I don't know. There's a lot of cards that I don't like the way they are being played for that. Quentin Johnson is one of those weird guys, but who knows? Baltimore that doesn't have a good pass defense. So maybe he finds the end zone. So maybe it's go ahead and start him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Just taught myself into 3 guys. It's way, way better though than the running backs. Like if you're starting a flex guy, you better be starting a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking starting wide receivers. I'm starting Quentin Johnson.
Right? Yeah. Is that your?
Yeah, that's who. Yeah, I think that he's a very big touchdown dependent guy, but it seems like they have, try to get him involved, especially more in the red zone when they do decide to throw the football. And I think that he is a guy, especially against this terrible Baltimore secondary, that could potentially get you a touchdown and maybe get you 4 or 5 catches for 50 yards, a touchdown. There's, 16, 17 fantasy points.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm going to go, and this one's tough for me, honestly. For the Tampa Bay, they are playing, who is it this week? The Giants. Give me Jalen McMillan. It is a deep flex play. So if you are starting him, I'm assuming that you have a couple guys on bye that are like Chase, T. Higgins, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the last 2 weeks, he has gotten 15 targets. With that, a whopping 50 yards. So I am very much going out on a limb here,
Yeah.
but I think maybe he sneaks into it a little bit here, and he's way down the 40s. So I'm just going big here. If I'm right on this one, I hit gold. Okay.
And the thing is, now he doesn't have to be the number one wide receiver. Mike Evans
Mike
is
Evans is
supposed to
back.
play this week.
Yeah.
So it will take a lot off of him. And they like the two wide receiver system. And he could very well fit in for Chris Godwin in the slot like he has been doing. I think that's a really good play.
Yeah. Well, let's move on, if you're cool with that, to some wins and some losses. So I want you to either take a victory lap or you can take the L, whichever one you want to do first, and then I'll do the same.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the L for Kansas this year. If we're talking all college football, NFL, I'm taking the L for Kansas. This is a team I had in the playoffs. I really thought that they were going to be a force in the Big 12 and potentially win the Big 12. It's just it didn't materialize that way until the last 3 weeks. And yeah, it was a little too late.
No, it's fair. I think it's a fair one. I really feel like I have to take the L on Bo Nix. I thought he was one of the worst first round draft picks, and it's still very early. Yeah, I still feel okay about it because he's so dink and dimey that I don't know that it's actually going to translate to long term success. It almost feels a little bit like Mac Jones' rookie year.
Yeah,
no, just want to throw that out there. But in a sense that if he wins Rookie of the Year, which he has the pathway to do that, then I gotta take that's a pretty big loss on my part. Not even close.
Yeah.
So I'll take the L on that one. Give me a victory lap that you're like, told you so.
Trevor Lawrence.
That is a big one.
This is a guy that we talked about at the beginning of the year where I was just like, I don't trust him. I don't trust this team. And what has he done this year? I mean, besides the last couple of weeks where he got hurt, he has done nothing. This team has very underwhelmed, and I just don't see him as a franchise quarterback. When they paid him as much as they did, I get that's the way the NFL is nowadays, and you want to try to keep your quarterback, you have to pay them. But to me, it was a lot of like what the Giants did with Daniel Jones, where they paid him a lot of money for one good year. But at least Daniel Jones got paid after he had the good year. Trevor Lawrence had a terrible year last year, then still gets paid. And so I felt like I saw this coming from the last couple of years, the way he has very underperformed and just taken steps back.
Yeah, and someone did say that NFL quarterback is the only position in all of sports that you can get paid for being mediocre.
Yeah.
Like paid incredibly well.
Yeah.
If I wanted to take an L on one thing, I would say one more thing just for fun. Caleb Williams, the disaster that he has been offensively with this team, I'm just thinking he was going to be incredible. I would say that. I still think
he can be incredible. I just think it's just a storm of terribleness that is Chicago.
Yeah. Victory lap. I don't know that I can be as bold and say this. The biggest one I want to say is actually in the NBA. And it's the ridiculousness of the Philadelphia 76ers. This is not an NBA podcast. And that's why I don't really want to lean too much on it. But Paul George going over there, this dude doesn't love basketball. He doesn't love winning. He doesn't love playing. He does it because he's absolutely incredibly gifted at it.
Yeah.
So that to me is a pretty rough one right there. And I'm fine with it.
I think that sums up the whole 76ers, except for maybe like one or two guys like a Tyrese Maxey, who you can tell he loves to play basketball. Joel Embiid, he don't like playing basketball.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. How about Derrick Henry? 13 touchdowns, leading the league in rushing yards right now through 11 games. Averaging, do you know what he's averaging per carry right now?
No.
6 yards a carry. Him and Saquon Barkley right now, head and shoulders above everybody. I think you should also take the victory on Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
I definitely thought he was bad signing. He's not even as good as Aaron Jones. And you said, no, I kind of like this signing. It was so quick. And you look at him now, he has been really, really effective this year for a team that needed it.
Yeah. I think we can take a victory lap as a team that we have been talking about this. Pay the running backs, give them what they're due, and look what it's done. the big three free agency running backs: Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. All three of them are the three best running backs right now in the NFL.
I would like to say I think Jahmyr Gibbs has the potential to be up there. I know
Yes.
he's on the rookie deal, but
Hmm.
part of it maybe is the dynamic duo that they
Yeah.
have there. So he is so fresh, but I think
Yes.
he's approaching that top three, like
Oh, absolutely.
potential. He's not there
But
yet. He's potential.
yeah, I'm saying like right now, like way they have played this year, I think those are the three best running backs right now. I mean, because you can't throw CMC in there. He has only played 2 games, so
Yeah,
we know what CMC can do when he's healthy, but he hasn't
yeah.
been able to do that because of the injuries. But we're talking about impact, especially when it came from free agency.
Hmm.
This was a huge running back class, for free agency.
Hmm.
And when Saquon got paid, people are like, "Oh, that's terrible." Josh Jacobs gets
Yeah.
paid. People, "Oh, it's a little too much."
Look at those quarterbacks now, and you tell me that it was
Yes,
too much. I
yeah. I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
we've seen how well the Ravens' run game has been before. Look at it now. I mean, Derrick Henry has transformed it into something that we haven't seen. you
Mhm.
know, you've got two of the best running backs with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry because Lamar Jackson is an incredible runner, and now you
Mhm.
throw Derrick Henry in there, who's just keeps on churning and churning each
Mhm.
year, and then Saquon Barkley's having a renaissance year in Philadelphia.
Yeah. And I will throw this out there too. I think the biggest W podcast as a whole victory lap we should be taking right now. The biggest L was Oklahoma. The biggest win
Yeah.
is the Jets. I mean, dude,
Oh yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah, no chance.
Yeah, the whole Jets organization. I mean, we could even piece it out. Aaron Rodgers, the offensive line, but just the Jets organization in a whole. We saw this coming. People thought that this team had a potential of making it to the Super Bowl. Are absolutely
Please.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely wild. So, wow, it is good to be back. I missed you guys. Tubby, thank you again for holding down the fort of the show, the podcast, the way we talk about sports, because I had to stay at a hotel the last couple of days just because of
Yeah.
influx of, for me, moving. Tubby's been doing a ton of schoolwork as he finishes out strong in the semester. And I have ESPN, just not ESPN Plus, but just ESPN for the first time in a while. And these sports personalities just don't seem genuine on TV, and it
No.
just bugs me.
Yeah.
Seems like
Yeah.
they're faking
No.
it. So I don't
Absolutely.
like it. So
Yeah.
it's good to be back. Thank you so much, Tubby, for what you do for the show, for the
Absolutely.
fans. And yeah, I guess then we'll be back next week.
Yep.
Yep. Till then, we'll see y'all next time.
See ya.
See you.